So, you're going to have a baby. Welcome to Mother Love Child. In this video, we're talking about the best position to labor in. I'll also be sharing what you can do during labor to reduce or even eliminate back pain. And this very thing may also shorten your labor as well, so stick around to hear that. If you're excited to hear about the best position that you can labor in, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so that you know when new videos are uploaded. Okay, here we go. The best position for labor. There's a controversy. Is it lying down on your side or is it standing? Let's take a close look at both. Side lying. The side lying position for labor isn't just a way to lay down. It really is like a technique. Lying on your side with your top leg supported, with your shoulder in line with your hip, that is a position that will allow optimal release of tension. You have your upper leg resting on pillows because you want both hips in line. And if you were to just drape your one leg over, your hips would kind of be like a clamping down. So we want to be in such a position to allow optimal release of tension. So if you were to lay in this way, you will notice right away where you've been holding tension or where you're holding tension right in that moment. You will notice it right away. This is just such a beautiful way to lay down and practice relaxation. You will be able to recognize right away where that tension is. And then you can release it. Intentionally relax that muscle. Release that hold. So this technique of lying on your side, this position, every little piece of it is important. Take note that the foot is not hanging off of the pillow that's supporting the leg. Have your whole leg supported, even including your toes. Find those long king-size pillows. That's going to be the best way to support your leg in this position. Notice how it is only the head on the pillow and not the shoulder. Notice that each elbow and each knee has a slight bend to it. These little details are what make this position work. The goal is to just let yourself just be in the space completely relaxed. Practice allowing your lips to part, to separate. Allow your tongue to come off of the roof of your mouth. Let that be your starting off point of releasing the tension in your body. This position is ideal for labor because it lets you notice all of that tension going away. It lets you completely and fully relax, and that is what we need during labor. Let's talk about standing. I came across something called Dancing for Birth. It widened the view of how freedom of movement is such a beautiful gift. And I want to take a minute to say, when I talk about quality care, If freedom of movement is not within the scope of where you're receiving care, that's not quality care. Freedom of movement. Being free to get up and move as you please during labor is quality care. And it can mean the difference between unnecessary pain and not just coping with your labor, but loving it. Loving it. It can be the difference between unnecessary pain and loving your labor. So standing during labor. Why would that be the best position to labor and birth in? You've got gravity. You've got your body is unhindered all around. You can move your body in any way that feels good. You can move your hips. You can stretch up your arms and elongate your torso. Standing is so optimal for labor and birth. One technique that I like to share is to have some type of fabric, whether that be a scarf or a bozo or a bed sheet, and tying it around something, anything, making a knot, shutting it in a door, securing it. That's the word I'm looking for, securing it to something that is sturdy and strong and it steadfastly won't move. And you use that fabric to reach your arms up and pull and hold, and you allow your knees to bend and you allow your pelvis to just be in that space and release the tension in that area just like we would if we were lying down. So this position, standing with your arms stretched out high and your knees slightly bent, you're using your arms to support your body really, in a sense, and allowing your midsection to relax. You're elongating your torso. You're making room for your baby to wiggle and move and find the way through your pelvis. This position is ideal for labor, and it's also ideal for the time of birth. It feels good. You're supported. A woman's natural instinct is often to reach up and to grab a hold of something at the time of birth. My last birth, it's funny how I go through some of my notes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did every one of those things and I wasn't even thinking about it. I will say I didn't reach my hands up though. My hands were down, ready to welcome my baby. Dancing for Birth has their birth instincts. I instinctually stood up. I planted my feet on the ground. My pelvis thrusted forward. I just did it. And I was able to do it because I was allowed that freedom of movement. Interesting tidbit. I didn't want to stand to have this baby. I wanted to be closer to the ground. That was my ideal plan for the birth. But it didn't work out that way, I guess, because I just decided I needed to stand in that moment. And little did I know that that's when my baby was going to be born. Being allowed to move as you please during your labor means that you have quality care. It means that the people who are there for you. They are there to support you. And that's what you want. So what about that little thing that comes up in birth stories and people who have had babies? That one thing that makes it so hard to lie on your side and completely relax. That one thing that makes it super difficult to release that tension in your pelvis and your abdomen when you're standing upright laboring. And that's back labor. Back pain during labor. So, this is what you can do to reduce or even eliminate this back pain. And it may also shorten your labor. And by that I mean it will prevent a longer than necessary labor. So to help yourself, if you're experiencing back pain during your labor, what you can do to help is to stand up, have your feet flat on the ground, take your hands, cradle your baby, and I notice that this is done naturally. Almost every labor, a woman is laboring and she's standing and she's got her hands on her belly, holding her belly from underneath, swaying back and forth, what have you, but almost every single labor, especially in early labor, the mother is standing, her hands are cradling her baby, her belly with her baby in the womb. So with your hands in that position, as they naturally go, lift up firmly and strongly. Lift that belly up. Lift it up as high as you can go, as high as feels good. Hold it there and slowly let it back down with control. And that is the one little thing that can mean the difference between lots of back pain, contraction after contraction, versus some back pain and then it being alleviated. Now, if you're like me, or most women who are in labor, my brain isn't turned on to teach other people what they can do during labor or what they could do to help somebody. My brain is switched on to my inner self and working with my body and my baby. So the laboring woman isn't necessarily going to go, oh, I have back pain. I should try lifting my belly and holding it in place. So we need our partners, our doulas, our providers to remind us that we can try that. We can try that. And a lot of times it works. Not only does it work, but it often brings the birth of the baby much closer and much more quickly. Lying on your side, optimal position for labor and birth. Standing, optimal position for labor and birth. And there is a little something that you can do to help to reduce or even completely eliminate back pain in labor. Let me know in the comments what happened during your labors. What did you do? What felt good? What felt right? So remember, you were born to do this. You are the boss of you, and you are worth quality